Lionel, I'm delighted to welcome you here. SoHo, New York City, our good friends at No Good are hosting us today. The most amazing thing to me is outside, centigrade is about -3, -4. I think Fahrenheit is like 28. You walked an hour from Midtown to get here.
Miguel, it's great to be on the show. And I thought if I'm going to go on a show like this, I need to stay fit and I need to enjoy the city. And this cold, brisk, but I'm loaded for bear.
Yeah, but it's very sunny. Well, thank you for joining. I think we had a lot to talk about. You just came out with this amazing book, Gambling Man, very relevant, not just for the fintech industry, but venture capital, technology, and business in general. The story about Masayoshi Son, of course, founder of Softbank. First, let's start. You retired from EFT. You were the editor. Why decide to pursue this project specifically?
If you have one of the best, if not the best job in journalism, which is to be the editor of the Financial Times, and I was editor for 14 plus years, you think, well, what can you do next? Is there a follow-up act? And I've always wanted to write a biography. And then I was looking for somebody who was going to be a global figure, somebody who's been in tech, somebody where I could use some of my contacts, particularly in Silicon Valley. And because the Financial Times was acquired by Enrico, I got to know it a lot better. Did 14 trips in 4 years. And I heard about this slightly mysterious, enigmatic figure called Masayoshi Son of SoftBank. And so when I thought about him, I thought there's so much money around Masa. He raised $100 billion to the SoftBank Vision Fund. He lost a fortune that got nearly wiped out in the dot-com bubble, but he came back. I thought there's got to be some great characters in the story. And also it's a story about time, as you say. He's this kind of Forrest Gump figure. He's always there or thereabouts in every moment in this tech story that we've had the last 40 years, from the advent of the microchip through the internet, through the mobile revolution, and now artificial intelligence. First, I was slightly daunted because when I started researching this book in 2021, a number of his closest business partners and people he worked with were saying, we need to get this book written like in 6 months because he's going to go down. He's actually going to go bust. I mean, he's out, he's finished. And that put a lot of pressure on me, particularly because I couldn't get to him to do the interviews because we were in COVID, Japan was locked down. So there was a certain amount of pressure. And then I suddenly realized, you know what? I don't think he's going to go bankrupt. I don't believe this. So I'm just going to take my time. Then I suppose you have to work out, well, where's the cutoff, and understand you can't do everything. But if you can get deep into the origins, the roots, the family roots, so you're getting to the character, there's going to be a great story. And then there'll go home that sort of younger, early period, which is very little known to people in the West. I could do a lot of interesting research and we just figure out, well, we'll see where we end up in 2 or 3 years' time. It's crucial, Miguel, to understand he's a Korean Japanese. So the Koreans at the turn of the century were part of the Japanese empire. They were part of a colonial outpost. They were also second class or fourth class citizens. I mean, his grandfather came over as an economic might in 1970. His grandmother followed him 10 years later. And then they were displaced after the war. They went back to Korea. Japan was devastated and they were treated very badly. So much so that after a year, they went back to Japan. And at that point, it was really devastation. And they were part of that shantytown. Masa was born on the edge of that shantytown. So he was poor for about 4 or 5 years. And he did experience hardship. His father was a bootlegger, then a loan shark, and then made fortune in slot machine gambling, pachinko. And I think Masa got a bit of his hustle from his father. And I interviewed his father at the family home. He was 87, and he had months to go back to pay that big in time. That was really interesting. The second thing that's really important about Masa is that he went to America at age 60, and that's where he learned English, That's where sort of heard about the tech revolution in Silicon Valley, heard about the microchip claims, so I had a slightly cathartic experience like Bill Gates when he about the Intel processor.
Same matters.
Yeah, same magazine. Feels a bit copycat. There we are. But then he went back to Japan and went into the software distribution business, and against all odds, succeeded. He couldn't get credit because he was Korean. So it's a pretty amazing story that somebody who was really in the fringe society became one of Japan's richest men, if not the richest.
You mentioned he coming to the US as a student. It really had a big influence on him because she realized that people from all sorts of backgrounds could use their real names and they could be themselves, right? In a society that accepted all sorts of people. And this was, I guess, the 70s, but it was California. It was one of the most progressive places in the world.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Miguel. And the Korean Japanese usually use Japanese aides to hide. They're living undercut, but they seem Japanese because they got Japanese names, but they're actually aliases. And that was true of Masayoshi Son. His Japanese name alias was Yasumoto. But when he went to California, he dropped it, and he was known as John.
You have interviewed Obama, Trump, and Putin. More interestingly, Putin. That is, to me, I lived in Russia as a kid. Obviously, those are statesmen, but do you think Masa shares a lot of qualities with world leaders?
I think he's slightly different. He can play many different games. He could play the Joker, the jester. He could be very serious, very thoughtful, reflect. I don't think he has a particularly good political instinct. He got it all wrong when he came to America, bought strings and thought he could just pull off a merger with T-Mobile, for example. Thought he could repeat the Japan playbook. Right? I think that he's a very private man. It's really difficult to find out stuff about where he lives. He's very private about his family. He has 2 daughters. All this makes him quite different from politicians. He also hides his power. He's very good at making people think that he's written off, but actually is plotting a comeback. So he's a great devotee of Sun Tzu's Art of War. So I would say he's more influential in power.
In terms of plotting comebacks, Softbank and even him have experienced near-death experience, right? He had health issues with his pancreas, I believe.
Yeah, he had hepatitis B when he was in his early 20s and then was given 5 years to live. So if you get through that, you think I can come back to medicine. He survived because of pioneering treatment back in the early 80s. He had a young child and his wife in Stemston and she had news. But as you say, he's also flirted with corporate debt. He had 97% of his wealth wiped out through a dot-com crash. He almost went under during the pandemic. He lost billions on options trading. On the other hand, he's had big successes, like he invested early in Apple and Alibaba, and he didn't sell, unlike Goldman Sachs. He didn't sell his stake in Alibaba. He had about 40% of it and went up to 30%. He kept it for almost 20 years. I think he deserves his place in history, maybe not in the top tier, but he's still determined to get there. And he literally compares himself to Napoleon Bonaparte.
That's what the hedge fund, they didn't see plumbing, right?
Yeah, they didn't. Elliot went over there, they took a stake and they gave him a presentation and said, look, if you do this, you do buybacks, if you clean up the board, you can be as successful as Mark Zuckerberg. And he goes, I'm not like Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates. I'm like Napoleon for Emperor Jin or Genghis Khan. That's what he sees himself as, a great empire builder. And he really does want to cement his place in history.
This week, Trump came back to power, and the next day, Masa shows up in the White House with a huge announcement, along with Marielle Son and Sam Altman. But this is not the first time. Many of us will remember the time Masa visited Trump right after his first election, and then they had this announcement in the Trump Tower lobby. I remember watching that, and that's why I really enjoy your inside accounts
of how that went down. Yeah, it was hilarious because what we're seeing right now, SEM 2.0, is a mirror image of what happened 8 years ago when Masa got a meeting with President-elect Trump and made his promise at 50,000 jobs and investing $50 billion. And he got that meeting to Sheldon Adel's. He was a big Republican donor, but also the Las Vegas casino billionaire who sold his trade there to Masa back in the mid-1990s. So they had a connection, and Sheldon Adel can use that money to build his gambling empire. So he's got a connection there. Masa's got a big connection with Sheldon Adel. And Steve, they go in. Masa is being told, keep it simple. And he has this big presentation. It's 50,000 jobs, 50 billion. And he's barely started. And Trump says, can we tweet this? This is great. This is fantastic news. And the White House Chief of Staff, incoming, Brent Priest, says, well, can we just check this out? I mean, what state is going to put this investment in? Trump, no, it's fine. And the meeting sort of over fairly quickly. And then Trump goes into the bathroom, adjusts his tie, puts in the pin, and then starts combing his hair. And then Trump looks at Masa, says, oh, you do it this way. And he's combing his hair. But Trump doesn't seem to realize that Masa doesn't have very much hair. So this is a very weird thing. Anyway, Masa's wearing his red tie too, and they go down and then they say, here we go. But of course, this caught Masa's investors, including Terry Gard, Foxconn, completely on a surprise that they'd been bounced into the investment. So that's what happened in 2016. And now we've got something even more ambitious. 100 billion, that was what we heard about last month in Mar-a-Lago. Massive, by the way, playing golf this summer for 5-6 hours in Mar-a-Lago. And then they jumped up this whole idea, investing in infrastructure updates, starting in Texas. Chen's got partner, as you mentioned, Barry Ellison and chronicling and Samuel and OpenAI. And there's almost $500 billion in 4 years. Now, they're going to get that. I think they've got quite a lot of money. He's got access to money. He's got cash in the balance sheet.
Switching gears a little bit, with your experience as a journalist for decades, what have you learned about interview, about getting the best out of people in an interview?
Well, the first is you've got to be prepared and know quite a bit about your subject. So it is true that when I went to Tokyo the first time, he was told he was too busy. I think he was that way. It's just I didn't expect that. And they didn't give me a guarantee that I was going to see him. But what I did was use that time to say, okay, look, I'm not going to worry. I'm serious. And I'm going now to spend 3 days where he's grew up. I'm going to see his schools. I'm going to go and see the family. I'm going to find out everything I can about his child, and I'll be back. And I think as a result of that, I was much better for the first interview. And I think Masa actually said to me, oh, gosh, we really understand where I come from. So I think you've got to be prepared. The second piece of advice I give is don't fill the silence. If you're interviewing somebody, you've got to let them speak. Don't interrupt. And if there is a silence, just wait. Now, that requires a certain self-discipline, but you'd be amazed if you wait. People then feel that they need to fill the silence, and then you find out much. And then I think you have to convey the notion that you're not there as the brand inquisitor, especially at the beginning. I thought a lot about this, how I was going to interview him, just giving them the sense that you were serious, to have a conversation. And that takes a lot of discipline, probably a certain amount of experience. I mean, I remember with pushing, for example, I decided that I would speak German because I speak German. I was also singing to an interesting English German and couldn't resist. And immediately you see, therefore, there's an epic connection.
The FinTech Leaders podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial or investment advice.